Wow! Good afternoon, this is Trev from Headphones Hi-Fi Reviews. I'm here to talk to you today about the Duna Luna. Luna meaning moon. And Dunu is a Chinese company and they have produced this flagship headphone and have called it after the lunar landings, and clearly this is their moon shot. This one costs $1,600. So has one or two competitors, to say the least. The question is, have they done it? I will tell you in the course of this video. Stick with me. Cue intro. The Dunu packaging is the following leather holder, and within which several different kinds of ear tips. Can I just say that these particular earphones are very, very sensitive and do change their signature with the tips, and I found only one set of tips that perfectly suited my needs for them. My needs were suited by these particular tips, which gave me the balance of bass and mid and treble extension. None of the other ones I liked at all, but these I really liked. A lovely finish to the weak points, so where the cable goes from one and splits, called the Y split. One can see no fault with that one. Very elegantly done and understated. A see-through chin strap. And then finally up to the MMCX cable. And an elegantly angled and beautifully strengthened and finished rubber protector around the end of the cable. And this is the advantage to me of the MMCX cable, the fact that it will rotate around 360 degrees. So we have this to create the correct fit around the ear, and this to create the correct seal into the ear. And we have a modular design for the cable ends. This is a 4.4 balanced cable, and all one has to do is swivel the cable around into the jack, and with a satisfying click and with the two dots in the same place, we know that we have the correct fit. The Cord Mojo is an old school device and accepts 3.5mm unbalanced. The HM1000 accepts several different. This is the 4.4 balanced. And the FIO M11 with its 2.5mm balanced. Fitting them into the ear couldn't be easier, as you can see. Comfort is first rate. The cable is soft. The driver's shell is small and thin, and they can be worn without any issues in the ear for hours. Everything is machined nice and smooth. The only issue I had with the comfort was the need to readjust into the ear canal every so often, as because of the tips that I used, they would slide out of the ear canal every so often. Isolation as well was only average, because the tips that I chose were the best compromise for me for sound quality, and they didn't fit into my ear canal perfectly well. What do you think of the look of these? We have a stalk and an almost invisible connection to the driver shells. I'm afraid the design is a little bit boring for my liking. There's nothing particularly exciting about it. What do these sound like? What is beryllium? Does it make any difference? Or is it just hype? There is something about beryllium. It does make a difference. I compared them to the RE2000 silvers, and I compared them to the IE800. The total harmonic distortion of the IE800 is 0.06. The total harmonic distortion of these is 0.2. In other words, these distort more, apparently. But in reality, do they distort more? Beryllium is a metal. It's extremely dangerous to manufacture. It's manufactured in a special plant in America. It's extremely expensive. It's extremely strong once it's made. Dunu uses beryllium foil that it sprays onto its cheaper earphones to give you some of the impression of a beryllium diaphragm. The driver for the Duna Luna, like the driver for the Focal Utopia, is pure beryllium. Beryllium, beryllium. There is something about beryllium. Let's bring these back into the picture. The Duna Luna has pure beryllium drivers, and they sound totally different from the dynamic drivers that are the Sennheiser IE800 and the RE2000. And the difference between the three is how much more one can hear with the Duna Lunas than one can hear with the RE2000s and coming third, the Sennheiser IE800s. If I can think of a way to describe what beryllium does, I believe I would describe it as ultra revealing. The final A8000 had the sharpest, leanest, most accurate bass I'd ever heard, but it did have other shortcomings, particularly in the comfort, style and fit categories. The Duna Luna does not have as good a bass response as the final A8000 or the RE2000 Silver or the IE800, but it does have enough bass that you can hear what you need to hear, and it is very linear, where it is streets ahead of the RE2000 Silvers, and the IE800 is in the rest of the sound signature. We are talking along the lines of the Stax SR009 electrostatic full-size headphones for the clarity that these are capable of producing in the mids and highs. The IE800, in comparison, sounded muddy. The IE800 is famous for the width of its soundstage, and the soundstage was wider in the i800s, but only very slightly. The Sennheiser i800 had a wider soundstage, but unnaturally so compared to the Duna Luna. The soundstage of the RE2000 Silver was more intimate and slightly warmer compared to the Duna Luna. Neither earphone could compete with the clarity and the ultra revealing nature of the Duna Luna. Conclusion time. You think I'm going to be bowled over by the Duna Lunas, don't you? However, the ear tips weren't as good as I thought they would be. The looks didn't do much for me. The sound on many tracks was startling. It was stunning. However, on some tracks it was simply too harsh, and it made listening to a variety of different music quite difficult. Once you've gone to the Duna Lunas, it is very difficult to get your ears reattuned to what I would consider to be a normal sound, a more approachable sound with a slightly less clarity. And this is what you will get from the RE2000 Silvers. The RE2000 Silvers pinch small ears because they have some sharp bits on them, but the sound, once you get used to it, having acclimatized yourself from the stunning clarity of these, is actually slightly easier to live with, I'm afraid. The bass response of the i800s is superb. These do have apparently measurably less distortion than the Duna Lunas. I'm not sure I particularly believe that. When I've heard the difference between the two, these come as a distant third compared to the RE2000 and the Duna Lunas, but they are no slouches. This ends my epic journey with the Duna Lunas. I listened to a variety of tracks that have been recorded over a number of years and have varying degrees of excellence in audio quality, and these are ultra revealing enough to tell me just which ones. My epic journey with the Duna Lunas is almost at an end after 4 weeks, and I shall miss some of their clarity and their ultra revealing nature and the linearity of the bass for in-ear monitors, which is all stunning. But I know that I will be able to go back to what I had before and enjoy my music just as well as I ever had, as my brain readjusts to what is normal rather than what is otherworldly. Fare thee well, look after yourselves, enjoy your music, be it cheap or expensive. Feel free to give me your comments on the Duna Luna, particularly if you own a pair. I'm very envious in some ways, but in other ways I'm also happy with what I've got. Enjoy what you've got, whatever you've got, and make the most of it. Be kind to each other, but keep your distance, and I will see you on the next installment.